everyone. Welcome to episode one of the Talk of Fame podcast. I'm Kylie. I'm so excited to have on co-host of the Big Swing podcast, Cooper Surles. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be here. Congrats on your first episode.
Thank you so much. The first question is, you started the Big Swing podcast with Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Ross Stripling. How did you guys come up with the idea of making a podcast?
Yeah, so Ross and I are really good friends, and I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I've been listening to, 2 or 3 podcasts a day for the last 5 or 6 years, and so I'm just kind of obsessed with podcasts. And so I was recommending some really good ones to Ross one night, and just sort of as a joke, he said, "Hey man, we should start a podcast." And we kind of woke up in the morning, and I shot him a text. I was like, "Hey man, would you actually want to do that?" And he's like, "I think so. Let's do it." So we spent the next week or so coming up with names and logos and how we'd want to approach it. And, that was a couple years ago now. And we're over, I think, 120 or so episodes in. And we've had some awesome people on the podcast. So it's been a really fun journey and very rewarding.
That's great. You are a big sports fan. What is your favorite sports memory from attending games or just watching at home?
Oh, I would say my favorite sports memory. I went to Texas A&M. Ross did as well. And my favorite sports memory was probably watching Johnny Football play in college, and the atmosphere that surrounded, going to Kyle Field at Texas A&M and for a big football game, and there being over 100,000 people there. And so I can't pinpoint one memory, but just the feeling of being in that stadium with 100,000 people wearing maroon is pretty special, and I'll never forget those moments.
That's great. You guys have some great guests on your podcast. What is your favorite player or a coach or something that you got the chance to interview?
So I would say Kirk Herbstreit. He is he's a college football analyst. He's been around for a long time, and Ross and I kind of mentioned it in the podcast, but he was really like a staple in our life for when we were kids and now as adults, and we've been really watching him forever. So I remember when we got the opportunity to interview him, and he sort of popped up on the Zoom. It was sort of surreal to see him like in person and actually hear him speak to you, as opposed to just like on TV and on ESPN and everything. So he was a really down to earth person, and kind of everything you imagine he would be, and everything he sort of portrayed on TV, he was in real life. So that was really, really neat to kind of be able to interact with him and, kind of become friends and everything. So I would say Kirk Herbstreit was a special one for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, it's great to have someone you really look up to interview. That's really one of my dreams, to interview people.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty fun moment to kind of realize that dream and someone that you've looked up to for a long time. And for them to take the time out to be on your platform was really neat. So yeah, we really appreciated that, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great. You've been doing the Big Swing podcast with Ross Stripling for a while. What is it like getting to work with him?
It's been great. Ross and I, we're friends before we started this thing, but really it was, our wives were best friends, and we kind of were just friends by association. But really since then we've grown our relationship and become really good friends. And the thing about Ross that, I've appreciated through this process is that when, he puts his mind to something, or, he commits to something, he's all in. And I'm kind of the same way in that aspect, that, I'm going to go, fully in and really commit and make sure that we're putting out a good product if we're going to do it. So, that's been the biggest thing that I've kind of learned about Ross and appreciated about him through this process, is just sort of the commitment and everything. It's been really good.
That's great. You doing a podcast, what is your favorite part about being a part of it and doing it?
Yeah, it's I think the favorite part is, I spend so much time like thinking about sports or talking to friends about sports and everything. So to have a platform to really be able to get those ideas and thoughts out, even if they're, just funny thoughts or stupid thoughts, just to kind of have a platform to say them out loud is always been fun. So, the guest is fun. Having interviews and people on is really fun. But, for Ross and I, our favorite parts are just when it's kind of him and I talking about stuff that we're into at the moment, and, making funny jokes about things. So yeah, those are the parts I enjoy the most, to just be able to have an outlet for my thoughts.
That's great. The best part is about like my biggest part for interviewing is like I just started a couple weeks ago, like reaching out to people that I really look up to. And like it's like I a lot of people I look up to that are in the podcast world, and like people that interview sports and everything, family matters. I have some people that interview in my family that like it's like an ideal for me, since like it's a lot of people inspire me, and you are one of those people, by the way. Since I listen to all the episodes in the podcast of Ross, I'm a big fan of Ross as well. And it's I've been a fan of Ross since he was part of Dodgers organization. Now he's part
Yeah.
of, so yeah, it's like a dream come true. So
No, that's awesome. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're. That's awesome that you're getting started. It's going to be a lot of fun and challenging and everything, but it is rewarding. And I think one thing that I've tried to do, and hopefully it comes across, is that if we're going to have some people listening and have a little platform, like I want to be able to give a little bit of who I am, and talk about stuff that's going on personally, and whether it's a serious topic or just something funny that's going on with me. I think that allows people to feel like they're in the room with you, and are a part of like the journey together and everything. So that's something that I've consciously tried to do, is like when something's going on in my life, like that's a good place to put that out there, and people will relate to it and everything like that.
yeah, that's great. The final question is, what is some advice for people who want to be in the same position as you?
I would say that the best advice is just whether you're happy with how the episode came out or you're nervous about putting it out, just consistently do it. And that was one of the things that Ross and I said from the beginning. Like, if we're going to do this, let's make sure that we're consistently doing it. If we say we're going to be weekly, do it weekly. If you say monthly, do it monthly. And that's the way you're really going to gain a following, if people know when to expect an episode coming out. So yeah, I mean, it's weird listening back to yourself. You're gonna feel like insecure about yourself, and we feel that every episode. But just put it out there, and keep putting out content, and eventually, whether people listen or not, you're gonna feel great about it. It's gonna be a fun hobby, and just keep grinding on it. That's really the best answer. Is just if it's something you want to do, just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, that's great. Like it's for me, it's like it's my first podcast. Like it's for me, I just kind of want like I work hard on something. Like it's for me, it's like I work hard on something. I just kind of want people to watch and try to. The most important thing for me is to inspire people. For me,
Yeah,
is I love like kind of talking to people and warning about their stories and what they
yeah,
to be in this position, and trying to inspire people to do the same or try to inspire other people. And that's really the main goal for me, is to inspire other people to do something, like do like a podcast or interview people or whatever they want to do. So that's really the main point for me, is to inspire.
yeah. No, that's awesome, and we've felt that way too. As far as just like I know for me, podcasts are like something like when I'm happy, I listen to them. When I'm sad, I listen to them. When I'm bored, I listen to them. And it's kind of like something I lean on, like as a friend or something. And so we want to be that for people, like just as a source of entertainment or comfort. And hopefully, if a few people feel that way, then I think that you've done your job. And even if not a lot of people are listening, even if it makes you feel good or makes you feel like you're striving for something, like that's all great too. So yeah, that's really the advice I would do. Just do it, and don't have too many expectations. Work hard on it. Expect to put a good product out, but in the end, do it for yourself, and for it to be fun, and for the people around you.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite passions is to interview people. And like
Mm-hmm.
I love sports very much. And I watch every game, like every baseball game or football or whatever sports it is I like. And it's like my favorite passion is basically watching baseball, mostly baseball for me. And like I start since like I like to interview, like talk to people and learn about their stuff. I came up with the idea to like interview people and say how much I like it. And I had a great time interviewing people. So that's really my passion came from listening to a bunch of podcasts. And
Yeah.
that's coming from some people in my family that interviews people that are on news and stuff. So there like I'm a lot of people that inspired me to do a podcast. And like I can't thank everyone enough for inspiring me. And you are one of those people. So thank you so much.
Well, no, I appreciate it. That's good to hear you say that. And, this is an awesome first step for you. Just keep grinding on it and have fun with it, and you'll learn and get better. I promise you. When Ross and I listen back to our first few episodes and then we listen now, it's night and day difference, how much more comfortable we are, how much more like confident we are and listening back to ourselves and everything. So yeah, this is an awesome first step, and I'm rooting for you for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. I had a great time speaking with you today. I wish you the best of luck with your podcast. I can't wait to see what comes forward for you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right, perfect. Thank you, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of
All
your
right.